Savannah, I'm coming home, Savannah.
Okay, hi guys, so I am back with another nail video. I wasn't gonna film this video, but I said I was gonna do it anyway because I got so many compliments on the first video that I did, and I really do thank you guys so much for your kind words and for appreciating that video, because at first I thought I was really nervous about doing it, and that's why I held on to it for so long before I released the idea. But anyways, here to share with you how I did my nails, and all I did were like some glitter French tip type of thing, and I got a lot of questions on how long does this last. Now, they're acrylic. I'm sticking them down with acrylic, so therefore you have to think of them like acrylic nails. So they will stay on as long as you leave them on. You can stretch them for a month, for 2 months, as long as you have good acrylic and the acrylic is really adhered to your nails, they will stay on. But I will say 2 weeks is the maximum that I leave them on, because within 2 weeks my nails start to grow out. So when I do my nails, I like to push them back on my cuticles. You know, by 2 weeks I can see that they're starting to really grow out, and that's the time when a lot of people go in for a refill. So that's the time when I just take them off and do a fresh set. So if you're talking about how long they stay on, they will stay on as long as you leave them on and as long as you have good acrylic. But as for, you know, when do I do them over? I do them over every 2 weeks, if that makes any sense, because your nails start to grow out and, you know, they start to look shabby by then. So you want to do them over. You see what I'm saying? So yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I will keep the nail tutorials coming. You guys have motivated me to keep on going with these nail tutorials. I really am happy that you guys liked it and nobody bashed me for it or thought that I was crazy or anything like that. So yeah, enjoy the rest of this video. Oh, and I also did a video on this hair and my makeup, which I will have linked down below because that video is going to go up before this one. So yeah, until the next video, take care of yourselves and bye bye. Okay, so this is a design that we're going for, and I've done 9 of them off camera, and I'm just going to show you how I prep the nails. So these are the nails that I'm using, and these nails, I just want you guys to know the tip of these are really strong. I have a few people telling me that they did this and the nails break right away. You got to find some really strong nails. The nails that I use are by Beauty Nailer, and they are extremely strong. They do not break. Anyways, I'm going to show you how I do this. I use a stick, and I use 2 different types of double-sided tape. One is a foam type and the other one is just a regular type. And I'm just going to show you really quick how I prep the stick. And I'm using a stick this time because I'm going to be applying gel and I need to get this under into the machine, so that's why I like to use a stick. Anyways, I'm cutting the foam tape first, and I'm going to split this in half because it's a little too big, and then I'm going to take one piece and wrap it around the end of the stick. And I have my sticks numbered, you know, like 1 to 5, so I know which nail I'm working on and stuff like that. So yeah, just go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and peel back this thing and just wrap this around. And the reason I use 2 styles of double-sided tape is because I really need the thickness for the nail to sit comfortably on top of the stick. So the foam double-sided tape works well for thickness, but it doesn't stay. I noticed that after a while it tends to unravel, so that's the reason for the thinner tape. I'm just gonna apply this around to really secure it in place, that it doesn't move and it doesn't unravel and it doesn't, you know, shift my nail while I'm working. I've had that happen to me. This is kind of like trial and error, so you know, I've learned the best way to do it, and I have to use 2 different types of tape. If you don't want to use the foam double-sided tape, you can use like tissue or anything just to make the bed area thicker, you know, so it sits better. I hope I'm explaining that well. Anyways, here's what I like to do to prep my nail. So I have all of my nails pre-selected to fit my nail, and what I like to do is go in on the back end and just round it out, because I find that it tends to be a little bit more on the square side, and I really want this to look like salon quality nails, like I went to the salon to do it. So I'm gonna round it out, and I'm gonna go back and just, you know, buff down the edges to make sure that when I push it on my nail, it lies really nice and flush with my nail bed. Also, you want to file the free edge, because a lot of times these plastic nails come with a little piece of something. I don't know why it's there, but you got to get rid of it, so that's what I'm doing. After that, I'm going to be going in with my buffer, and the reason I like to use the buffer is because a lot of times when you file these plastic nails, they tend to have like a curling effect, like a lot of the plastic will curl under and it won't drop off. If you've ever done this before, you know what I'm talking about, but I like to just use the buffer and go ahead and release any of that curly stuff that went on while I was filing the nail. Anyway, so I'm sticking the nail down, and you can tell why I need the foam. You know, if I didn't have the foam and I just did this like one time, it wouldn't sit properly. Anyways, I'm going to be using this orange nail polish to create the French effect, and I'm just going to do one nice coat. Make sure you do the free edges and stuff like that. You want to cap it, you know. And I'm going to go in with some nail polish remover and a synthetic brush to help clean up my smile line. I want to make sure that it's nice and perfect. So yeah, that's the reason for that. So just go ahead and do that. Okay, so now that my smile line is nice and perfect to my liking, I am going to be applying a second coat, you know, and once again, you just want to, and I'm staying a little ways away from the smile line because I don't have to do anything to that area, so I'm just thickening up the actual French area, if that makes any sense. You know, I don't want to go back and have to clean up anything, so I'm staying a little ways away from it. And as usual, I flip the nail over and I cap the free edge. And then I'm going to put this down to dry for a little bit before I come back and do the other step. Now for the next step, I'm going to go in with a flesh tone type of tinting nail polish. It's not really opaque or anything like that. It's just a tinter, and I'm doing this just to ensure that I have a really nice salon quality type of look. And I'm only going to do one coat of this because I'm going to be sticking this down with acrylic, and I'm going to show you the reason why I really love sticking it down with acrylic, but I'll explain that further down in the video. Anyways, I'm going to put this down to dry, and then I'm going to come back with my glitter. Okay, so I have my glitter and I have my makeup sponge. The reason I'm using the makeup sponge is because I just want the glitter to go on to the tip of the nail. And a lot of times when you just brush glitter on straight out of the bottle onto the nail, a lot of liquid is left on the brush, therefore you don't really get the thickness of the glitter that you want. But if you brush the tip or if you apply the polish to a makeup sponge, the makeup sponge absorbs most of the liquid that is in the nail polish, and that way you can just dab on the glitter and you'll get a lot fuller coverage without a lot of the liquid left behind, if that makes any sense. If you've ever done this before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is so hard to explain, but work with me. Anyways, I'm going to be doing 2 coats of that because I want the tips to be really, really nice and glittery. I want to fill in all the little blank spots and all of that good stuff. Now for my smile line, I'm going to be taking some loose glitter, and I'm going to go in with this stick that picks up a lot of nail jewels and stuff like that. It makes it really, really easy. And I'm just going to hug the smile line. I'm just going to place this down one at a time right around the smile line to make that area. I'm just having fun. You know, when it comes to this type of thing, you can have fun. You can do whatever you want. You don't necessarily have to do what I'm doing. I'm just showing you how I love to do my nails, okay? And then I'm taking a cuticle pusher stick, and I'm just lining up the glitter to make sure that my smile line is really nice and neat. Now it's time for the top coat, and I'm just gonna do 1 coat of this, and this is a gel polish. So after that, I'm gonna make it cure for 2 minutes. You know, I'm capping the free edge and stuff like that, but this is why I use the stick, because it's really, really easy to just push inside of the machine and, you know, let it cure. Now that it's cured for 2 minutes, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do a second coat, and I'm gonna do the same thing all over again, basically. I can't believe how hard it is to explain what it is that I'm doing. You know, in my head I think I can do it, but when you start to talk, it's kind of like, what? Anyways, I'm going to remove the sticky inhibition layer from the glitter because this glitter doesn't dry like that. You know, some glitters, they dry without having to do anything to it, but this one has a sticky inhibition layer, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. Now it's time to prep my nails. So the first thing I like to do is use this Sally Hansen cuticle remover thingy. It's really, really great. 15 seconds and it removes all of your cuticles. I don't really cut my cuticles or anything like that. I just push them back and then I wipe them off. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right here. And you really want to make sure that you remove your cuticles, because if you have cuticles left on your nails or any skin left on your nails or anything like that, the acrylic is not going to stick that well. It's going to start to lift in a matter of days. Now I'm going in and I'm just clipping the very little of free edge that I have, you know, but I really like to remove all the free edge because, like I told you guys in the previous video, I just ripped these off and I don't want any nail to be caught into the acrylic. So that's the reason I like to do this. You know, I find that it's just not necessarily necessary for me to grow out my nails. Now that I've done that, I wash my hands and then I just lightly buff my nails. You guys didn't have to see that. And now this is why I love to use, oh my God, get your words out, the acrylic, okay? When you use the acrylic to do something like this, it leaves no bubbles. You can just push the nail down because the bed of this nail is very transparent. So if you did this with glue, a lot of times glue will leave like little bubbles and it doesn't look as nice and neat. But with the acrylic, everything adheres. It spreads out nice and evenly and there's absolutely no bubbles. And as usual, if I have anything that kind of oozed out on the sides or on the bottom, I just take my little cuticle pusher thing. I use a metal one this time and I just, you know, scrape it off and I'm good to go. But that's the reason I love using the acrylic to do this type of thing instead of glue. And if you use glue to do this and you make a mess, it's gonna destroy your design. It's not gonna look as nice and neat. I didn't do anything else. I just stuck them on and there you have it. Absolutely no bubbles. And if you ask me, I think they look like salon quality. They look like I went to the salon to get my nails done. So that's the reason I like to use acrylic to do this. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next video, take care of yourselves and bye-bye.